Alright everyone, we have a rare moment of unity right now. The far left and MAGA fundamentally agreeing with one another on the hashtag Noronna movement. It's trending right now on Twitter and elsewhere. The idea is that it's unacceptable that Ronna McDaniel should be hired by NBC Universal's sub-company NBC News, and so like Meet the Press and like the MSNBC crowd, they're being boycotted right now. Much of this is coming from the far left. They believe that the network becomes magically fascistic because one token neocon Republican happens to be there. That's not really the way that it works. Again, I'll speak kindly to the leftists. I hate Ronna McDaniel too. You're doing the right thing, but for the wrong reasons. She's not far right. The idea of her aiding insurrection and all this other nonsense is clearly nonsense. But you're doing the right thing anyway, just for the wrong reasons. The real problem is she's a corporatist neocon snake. And part of the legacy media now, which is hilarious to me. And you're doing the right thing by tuning out MSNBC, because you're being lied to every time you watch MSNBC anyway. Or you watch NBC Nighttime News or something like that. It's just a litany of propaganda for the most part. Yeah, absolutely you shouldn't be paying attention to them. Hell, I'd rather you pay attention to some commie commentator on YouTube or TikTok or something like that. At least occasionally an intelligent word might be uttered. You're not really getting that from MSNBC, and any network that employs Joy Reid, trust me, they ain't far right. I guess the idea is that MSNBC is going to lurch way off into the right wing or something like that because Mitt Romney's relative is now there. Because he's so far right. I can remember back when he was reckoned to be Hitler and Satan and stuff like that. And I was like, well, I mean, I kind of agree with you. You know, the car elevator dude, I was no fan of him and definitely didn't fucking vote for him. But at the same time, I mean, Jesus, it's not a far-right platform. It's just a blind egotist entrenched within politics for an extended period of time who has grown old and stale and thankfully has decided to leave politics forever. We're all hoping that all of these neocons do so. I'm seeing people in MAGA and they're like shaking their heads, but at the same time chuckling with glee because the far left is attacking one of its own mainline networks. I think the whole legacy media should die. By the way, to people on the right, the same is true of Fox News. The fact that they would hire the token populist does not mean that they're a populistic network. They represent neoconservatism. Hell, I'm surprised Ronna McDaniel didn't go off and work for Fox News. I guess they couldn't pay her enough money. You know, MSNBC had the higher offer, and so she's like, well, you know, it might be a left-wing network, but, you know, I'm basically left-wing myself, so it's all good. You know. No, I agree with the far left, actually, on this. You should definitely boycott MSNBC. You should expand your mind and be watching actual analysis that fucking matters. You're not going to get any journalism from them anyway. You can't get journalism on any TV news network. It's like Fox News, supposedly right-leaning. Okay, whatever. Kind of, I suppose. On issues where you should be left-leaning, they're right-leaning anyway. I don't see them taking too many principled stances on guns and things like that. MSNBC, the home of Joy Reid and Rachel Madcow and people like that, they hire Ronna McDaniel, all of a sudden it's a fascist network. I'm thinking, okay, you hate strong, empowered women, I suppose. That'll be their rebuttal to the far leftists when they boycott the network. Meanwhile, MAGA can't really boycott MSNBC, because they're not watching MSNBC. The less intelligent are watching Fox News, and the more intelligent are watching me, I suppose. Or they're just getting it straight from the horse of the mouth, and they're watching Trump speak on Rumble. But the Noronna movement is very interesting, because I'm seeing like the variety of people that are supporting it and condoning it, and also the variety of people that are opposing it. So you've got a weird moment where, like neoconservative TDS-suffering commentators, like an Ann Coulter or something, fundamentally sound the same as Brian Krasenstein. He and Ed were chastising people just earlier yesterday about the boycott MSNBC, the Noronna thing, and saying, well, don't burn down the network just because you don't agree with one person that's on there. I prefer to see opinions that I don't agree with. Don't worry, Brian. Don't worry, Ed. I'm sure that Ronna McDaniels will not utter principled conservative things. Again, she'll be like that one chick on The View that provides token opposition. Wasn't that McCain's relative, if I remember correctly? Or is that a different one? I can't recall. There are so many interchangeable neocons. Why don't you just hire Ann Coulter? Why don't you get Elisa Murkowski, outgoing from the Senate maybe? Maybe she doesn't run for re-election. She ends up on CBS or something like that. The legacy media is fundamentally corrupt, fundamentally mentally broken, does not engage itself within any form of journalism anyway. It doesn't matter which network you're watching, you're being at least ill-informed, if not outright propagandized to. You're getting that on Fox, you're getting that on MSNBC, and don't worry, Ronna McDaniel being there is not going to fundamentally change the demographics of MSNBC's core audience. They'll normalize, 99% of them will go back to the network if they've been watching it anyway for inexplicable reasons. I mean, I'd rather watch paint dry, honestly, than watch TV news for the most part. Even the more exciting segments, breaking news, a plane fell out of the sky and smashed into the skyscraper or something like that. They managed to make it boring even then. Like I was thinking to myself, if I could go back in time. On 9/11, should have stayed home and turned on the radio and turned on Howard Stern or something like that as opposed to watching the coverage on CNN. The very least, the commentary would be intelligent, for the most part. That was back in the day. Don't jump down my throat. I realize that Stern's no longer the same as he was back in the 2000s or something. I'm aware of that fact. But the Noronna movement, yeah, uniting the MAGA and the far left inexplicably as we all chuckle at MSNBC, making probably a pretty bad hiring decision. It's going to be sort of like when that one chick, I can't even remember her name, attractive but unintelligent, the one that Trump said had blood coming from her eyes and from everywhere else, making a menstrual comment. What the fuck was her name? I don't know. She ended up working for for one of these, I think for CNN or something like that. She lost a shit ton of money in the process. She went prima donna mode. Can't remember her name. Only can remember the way that she looked, honestly. I think that's sort of the point on Fox News, especially as a network, by the way. That's about all. Peace out.